Okay, hello everyone. Today we're going to start factoring the quadratic trinomials where a equals 1. We're going to factor quadratics that look like this right here. Okay? And today's objective is to factor, this is a quadratic where the a equals 1, where the leading coefficient is 1. Okay? The essential question: what patterns can we use to help us factor a quadratic? All right, let's take a look at this one right here. We're going to factor this quadratic right here, x squared plus 8x plus 15. What we look for is two numbers. Multiplied together, you get 15, and added together, you get 8. All right, you can factor the 15 into factored pairs. 1 and 15, 3 and 5, and you notice that 3 plus 5 equals 8. So 3 and 5, you can plug it in. Those are the two factors, x plus 3, x plus 5. Let's take a closer look at these patterns. When you multiply it out, again, x plus 5 and x plus 3. When you multiply it out, this is what you get. X squared plus 8x plus 15. The sign in front of the 15 right here, you see that's a plus sign. That means the signs in our factors are the same. All right? The plus sign in front of the 8 means they're both plus. All right? That's not always what it means. It only means that if the second one is a plus. All right, let's take a look at the second one. Again, this says x minus 5 and x minus 3. Well, that equals x squared minus 8x plus 15. Again, that plus sign in front of the 15, when we factor this, tells us that the signs in our answer are the same. They're both the same sign. See, these are both negative. All right, and you look at right here, negative. That tells you the negative in front of the 8 tells you that they're both negative. That's only if the second sign is plus. All right. And the sign in front of the middle term always appears with the 5 here. You notice that? See that plus in front of the 8? The plus goes with the 5. The minus in front of the 8? The minus goes with the 5. Right here, this is a minus 2 in front of the 2. And that minus goes with the 5. This one is a plus in front of the 2. So that plus goes with the 5. It always goes with the larger of the two numbers. 5 is bigger than 3, so it goes with the larger number. Now, if the sign in front of the 15 here is negative, that means that the sign in our answer is different. The sign in our factors are different. One's a plus and one's a minus. That's what that means. All right? And again, just remember that the larger one, the 5 in this case, always appears with the sign that's in front of the linear term. Remember, the second sign tells you if they're the same or if they're different. All right, a couple more patterns again, and we kind of talked about them. When both signs, we're going to factor this again. When both signs are plus, then both signs in our answer are plus. When the first sign is negative and the second one is plus, we're factoring this right here, then both signs in our answer are negative. All right, when the second sign is negative, at negative 15, again, that means the signs in our answer, these two factors, they're two different signs. One's a plus and one's a minus. Remember, the first sign always goes with the larger number. That plus right there in front of the 2 goes with the 5. Right here, the minus in front of that 2 goes with the 5. So let's look at an example. We're going to factor x squared plus 7x plus 12. First thing we do, I create a form where I just make my parentheses and put the x in there. Because x always occurs right there, just put it in there. And again, guys, we're just factoring one where the a is 0. There's no number in front of the x squared here, okay? We'll talk about those next week. All right, go ahead and put your signs in. Again, both signs are the same, and they're both plus in this case. Then find the two numbers multiplied together equals 12. So I factor the 12 into factored pairs. 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Those are all the factored pairs of 12. But which of these pairs, when added together, equals 7? Well, it's 3 and 4. So boom, there's our answer. Just insert those two numbers into our form. Make sure I put the larger number first. In this case, it doesn't matter because the signs are the same. But as a habit, I always put the larger number first because the plus sign I always take first. That says plus 7. I just write it first right there, plus. All right, then you can check your answer by multiplying this out, and you can see that the middle term will combine. The 4x and the 3x combine. That's how you get the 7x. All right, let's do another example. In this case, the plus sign in front of the 42 tells us that the signs are the same. All right, so you back up now. The negative in front of the 17 means they're both negative then. They're both negative. All right, then you factor the 42 into factored pairs, and you're looking for the two numbers. When you add them together, you get 17. That's the middle number. Turns out to be 3 and 14. Again, I always put the larger number first, even though in this case it won't matter because the signs are the same. I do it by habit. And then you can multiply this out to check your answer. Let's look at another example. In this one, negative 27, see that negative sign right there? That means when we factor it, the signs in our two answers, in our answer, are different. You see, one's a plus and one's a minus. That's what that negative 27 tells us. And what I always do is, whatever that sign is in front of the linear term, the first sign in the quadratic, I put it first. I just put it first automatically. And you can look at the second one and say, okay, they're different, so this one must be a negative. Again, you factor the 27 into factored pairs, 1 and 27 and 3 and 9. But in this case, the pair we're looking for, when you subtract them, you get 6. Because that negative in front of the 27, we're looking for the two numbers. When you subtract them, you get 6. And in this case, 9 minus 3 is 6. So these are 9 and 3 are the two numbers we're looking for. Just make sure you put the big one first. The 9 has to go with the plus, and the 3 goes with the negative. And again, you can multiply this out, all right, just to check your answer. All right, last one. This is the quadratic where that's a negative and that's a negative. They're both negative. However, that does not mean the signs in our answer are both negative. What that means is that the signs in our answers are different. They're different. One's a plus and one's a minus. Remember, I just put the negative one first then. And then that one tells us they're different, so this one must be a plus. Again, you factor the 40 into factored pairs, 1 and 40, 2 and 20, 4 and 10, and 5 and 8. And I'm looking for which pair of these, when I subtract them, I get 3. That's the middle number there. When you subtract them, you get 3. It turns out to be 5 and 8. I just make sure I put the 8 first. The 8 has to go with the negative sign. All right, so we end up with negative 3 in the middle when we subtract. When we add up negative 8 and 5, we get negative 3 there. Okay, guys, go ahead and do the homework assessment. And we'll see you in class. Thanks.